NBC 10 at Issue starts now.
And good morning, I'm George Spencer for NBC 10 at Issue. Today we begin with a call to lend a hand, a push for people in our area with big hearts who are willing to lend a hand to children and teens is taking on new urgency. Right now, the city has more than 5,000 children in foster care, but the network of foster parents needs backup. I recently talked to advocates who are casting a wide net for new support.
Hi, I'm good. How you doing?
For Kimberly Ali, these office hallways are the front lines of her department's newest battle, the battle to recruit a new generation of foster parents.
We just need the help. We need the help. Our young people need the help.
Ali's team is responsible for every step in the foster care process for 5,000 plus Philly kids. The work has changed dramatically in recent years. After the child sex abuse case of Jerry Sandusky, state laws were tightened, and the number of calls to Ali's child abuse hotline skyrocketed.
We used to have about 21,000 calls to our hotline. Now we're up to 34,000 calls.
Not all of those calls end up with a child in foster care, but when they do, more than half of kids are placed with a relative, and older youths, like teenagers, need homes too. Ultimately, most children end up reunifying with their biological families, but each year about 600 are formally adopted by a new family. Ali says her department has worked hard to keep up, placing abused and neglected kids in foster care only when it's absolutely necessary. But the network of foster parents has been stretched thin, and now a new crop of willing adults is desperately needed to fill the gaps. Ali's emphasis is on flexibility and diversity. You can't have a criminal or child abuse record, but aside from that, DHS wants all types, young and old, well-off and working class, and there's a special need for foster parents who could create an understanding environment for LGBT youth.
There's myths out there. You do not have to be married to be a foster parent. You don't have to own your own home to be a foster parent. We want you just to love the child. That love really is the essence of all of this. So NBC 10 and Telemundo 62 are partnering with DHS to be part of the solution. We're hoping that the more people that know about foster parenting, the more they'll want to participate. With me now is the Commissioner for the Philadelphia Department of Human Services, Cynthia Figueroa. And Cynthia, I want to kind of start at the beginning in terms of how we arrived in this place where you guys are looking for more foster parents. How did we get here?
Well, certainly we know that a number of years ago, in the wake of the Sandusky law changes, there was 24 changes, and we had a huge influx of new reporting, which is helpful, but it also meant we had a tremendous increase of kids coming into the system, which meant there was a strain on the existing foster care resources that we had for families.
So it's really this sense that the foster care network, as we heard, really kind of pushed to its limit. Tell me about this new push that you guys are focused on now. What's the idea behind recruiting new parents?
Recruitment is really, we believe we need more resources, and we want the appropriate resources. So we want to make sure that whatever child is coming in and the type of home or the special needs that the child has, that we have the appropriate resource for them. So that if we have a family who wants a younger child or a family who wants an older child, that we're making those best connections.
And it's got to be, when both sides of the equation are happiest, that's got to be the best match.
That's correct. So we don't want by happenstance or because these are the only resources that we have to make tough decisions.
So you have a moment to speak to potential foster parents. What do you say?
That we need you. We can't alone as a system address the issues of children in the community. And we know that our community is full of amazing homes, amazing families who want to give back to children, who can support us in really making the difference in the life of a child.
I know that casting a wide net is important to you guys, right?
Yes.
You all want even people who might think traditionally, I wouldn't make a good foster parent, right? Think outside the box.
Yes, think outside. Everybody thinks you have to be married. You don't. You could be single. People think you need to own a home. You don't. You could be renting a home. We're looking for folks who really want to be welcoming and opening their home to a child.
So all different types of families.
All different types of families.
Thanks very much, Cynthia. One thing that we're seeing is that families become foster parents for so many different reasons. As you were referencing, for some it is the memory of their own time in foster care, and for others it is a deep desire to give back. That's what NBC 10's Vaisik Ahima discovered when he met the Martinez family.
The Martinez home in Northeast Philadelphia on most mornings is like any other home. Mom making breakfast, with kids and dad helping out to make sure everything's ready for the most important meal of the day. The Martinezes take a moment to express thanksgiving. So many of their blessings have come from fostering siblings so they aren't separated.
We have a son and we have a daughter, and we thought about it as if our kids were ever to enter into the foster care system, someone better take both of them. We would want the same for these kids coming in. Andy
is a firefighter and Shayna is a social worker. They wanted a big family, but after 2 kids, it just wasn't in the cards. But as Jada and Andre got old enough, their parents asked them if they were open to having foster siblings.
And they were like, yeah, that sounds good. The biggest thing was that God blessed us with this home, and we were humbled by it when we first, this is our first home. So we wanted to bless other people.
They view their foster children and siblings as their own family. Their pictures are on the family blessing wall. In fact, the first foster kids they took in were 3 siblings under age 5, 2 in diapers.
It's really hard to let them go. So whenever they leave, it's really hard.
The coolest thing was having a brother, because I've always wanted a brother.
This is a blanket that my husband bought me a couple Mother's Day ago, back when we were a family of 8 kids. And this now needs to not be 8, it needs to be 10.
That was NBC 10's Vaisik Ahima reporting. Joining the conversation now are Shayna Martinez, who we just saw in Vi's story. In addition to being a foster parent, Shayna is a foster care recruiter for Bethany Christian Services. And also with us this morning, Cecilia Rivas. Cecilia is with the Philadelphia Department of Human Services. She coordinates resources for parent recruitment. Guys, thanks to both of you for being here with us. I have a question just to start out that I think will apply to both of you. When you talk to foster parents across the city, what are they telling you about their experience and the benefits of doing this work? Cecilia?
What I hear from resource parents is that the most rewarding aspect is just seeing the kids blossom. You know, the children come to them having been through so much. And they see the progress in the children, and they know that that's because of the great parenting that they've provided.
And Shayna, you actually do some of this work yourself. What does it mean to you? How has it personally changed your life?
It's been an amazing experience seeing these children come from sometimes challenging homes and just you know, seeing and witnessing many things and coming, and sometimes they're scared at first or nervous, and so we just try to act normal, give them a normal life until it is time for them to go home.
We're trying to let the kids be kids, really. I think must be a lot of what the effort is with all of this. Cecilia, for you, you talk to a lot of resource parents, as you call them. What concerns do they come to you with? I mean, that you could begin to answer. I mean, what's the biggest concern that they arrive with?
They worry about, you know, whether they can do it alone.
Yeah.
And they don't have to do it alone. There is so much support available to people who are interested in becoming resource parents. So before you ever take in a child, you go through training. If you might be taking in children with medical issues or teenagers, you go through specialized training to teach you about those specific things. And then once you have a child or children in your home, you have a case manager that's available and comes and visits with you and counsels you on caring for the child. You have 24/7 support. You have DHS support with education, with healthcare. So there's a lot behind you.
So this idea that you don't have to do it alone, that really the way a lot of families would have sort of an extended family network, grandparents, that sort of thing, you all kind of have that built in the work that you do.
Yes, and we see resource parents relying on their own extended network as well.
Sure,
you know?
sure. Shayna, for you as somebody who you told me you live this and you work this, what is the biggest misconception that people have about the work of a foster parent, a resource parent? What do they get wrong?
I think that they get wrong that they take it personally and they're like, oh, I'm going to foster a child and then I'm going to have to let them go.
Right.
And my husband and I have fostered 8 children.
Wow.
And while they have all been either adopted, reunified, or went with their relatives, we still visit them. They still visit us. So it's not a love and let go thing. We've become a bigger family.
And you say 8 children whose lives you've touched. First of all, thank you. Second of all, what is their experience of this? I mean, what do you see them living during the time they're with you?
Love, stability, structure, someone being honest with them about what's going to happen next. They really need honesty. This is not something that we can hide. So just being very, very, very honest. Kind
of the things that a typical family would ideally provide. Cecilia, I mean, what about the kids? You know, we're on this big push to recruit new foster parents, give some current foster parents a break.
Yes.
I think a lot of people may wonder, what if there's not someone to take a child in the city of Philadelphia? Is that a problem that we're facing right now?
It happens sometimes, and we do have resource parents who take in children on an emergency basis while we look for more permanent homes, and that's something that we're trying to recruit for as well, is people who maybe can't take it in child long term, but can fill that need for just a little while we find a great home long term.
And I think the big effort behind a lot of this push, as I've heard it, is really trying to give these parents who've been working and fostering for a long time, give them a breather, right? In the way that any other parent would need a breather.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
And if we don't have an opportunity to place them in a home, it's the unfortunate situation where we might have to place them in an institutional setting or a group home or a residential setting, and that's really last resort. So the more resource families that we have, the less likely we're in a situation where we have to place a child in a non-home-based setting.
Right, very good. Offering that real family setting. Yeah. Well, the most important thing we want to leave people with today, on Thursday, March 1st, NBC 10 and Telemundo 62 will host a foster care phone bank. We will have experts available to answer any phone questions you have about becoming a foster family. They'll be able to talk to you one-on-one about the cost of fostering, the process, and anything else that you want to know. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for the work that you're doing on behalf of the children in Philadelphia.
Tonight, about 6,000 children in Philadelphia are in foster care and looking for a loving home. NBC 10 and Telemundo 62 are teaming up with the City Department of Human Services to find them loving foster families. Tonight, NBC 10's Drake Clark introduces us to a single dad who took in 2 brothers, and now he cannot imagine life without them.
What are you doing? You got to put it over there. Okay.
Love and laughter is Eric Johnson's secret recipe to keeping 2-year-old Sincere and 4-year-old Edward happy. There's rarely a dull moment between them in their North Philadelphia home. The kids keeping their dad forever young.
They always want to go to the park. They always want to go somewhere.
Johnson became a foster dad in 2016. He signed up thinking he would be a father of just 1, but when he got the call from the Department of Human Services, they said, no, we have 2 kids, biological brothers.
He said, you know, just try it, see what happens.
It was love at first sight. This was their first picture together. A dream come true for Eric, who thought because he was a single black male that he would have a hard time getting through the application process.
I think times have changed. It's being more frequent that single black men are able to do these types of things.
Single parents are welcome and eligible after an extensive application, orientation, and home inspection process. 6,000 children in Philadelphia are in foster care and need loving homes.
I would say go for it. It makes a world of difference for a child who needs that love and attention that they're possibly not getting.
Eric has now started the legal proceedings to permanently adopt Sincere and Edward. He says this is their home. He is their father. It's a perfect match. Drake Clark, NBC 10 News.
So perfect. And if you would like to become a foster parent, we want to help you. NBC 10 and Telemundo 62 are hosting a foster care phone bank to answer any questions you have. Call in this Thursday starting at 4 p.m.
NBC 10 and Telemundo 62 are partnering with the Philadelphia Department of Human Services to find foster families.
There are more than 6,000 children and youth hoping to find a family. Foster families and adoptions are near and dear to NBC 10's Vi Sikahema's heart. He's hosted the Wednesday's Child segment on NBC 10 for the past 14 years. NBC 10 in Center City today, where Vi talked about what it means for children to have loving homes. No one knows that better than Stephanie Laws. She's a foster parent to 4 children.
I just ask that, the Philadelphia community step up and start fostering. And in order to do so, it takes stability, it takes commitment, it takes teamwork, it takes love more than anything.
And there's no question the need for foster parents is great.
And the need for parents who are members of the LGBTQ community may be even greater. They can relate to foster teens who are also LGBTQ and may be struggling with their sexuality or bullying. NBC 10's Rosemary Connors introduces us to Franz, Lee, and Sophie.
It's easy to see the joy Franz feels when he plays the piano. In his new home of only 4 months, he's thriving. His foster parents, Lee and Sophie, who are married with an 8-year-old son, are amazed by how much Franz has achieved while in their care.
He has finished his SAT, his ACT, he's applied to all of his colleges, he's gotten his driver's license, he's obtained a really wonderful internship in the city, he's made a new group of friends. Can you take him for a walk?
Franz, who is originally from Indonesia, is enjoying his roles in his new family. Big brother to Lee and Sophie's son Benjamin, and resident teenager.
First of all, I don't have to worry about just being myself. I just being open for whoever I am.
Franz is gay, and before finding Lee and Sophie, struggled.
LGBTQ youth in the foster care system are having the hardest times. They have the hardest times getting placed in families.
Lee, who is a social worker, meets children in foster care every day. She saw something special in Franz and thought she and Sophie could be the support he needed.
I do think that there is a sense of normalcy that we can give him around his sexuality.
We have like something in common, and then we share experiences, and it's just like, we can relate.
The family has grown in many ways.
It's been, I think, beneficial for our couple because we've discovered what kind of teenage parent or parents of teenagers we are. And who's better at it. And right now it's me.
Yeah. While Franz will hopefully head to college in the fall, his journey in this family is just beginning, and it's taught him what he wants in life.
Really, my dream is just like probably someday I can have my own family, I can have kids.
And show them the kind of love he has here. I'm Rosemary Connors, NBC 10 News.
Tonight, NBC 10's Jim Rosenfield introduces us to a foster mom who knows firsthand what it's like leaving home as a child. Now she's using her own experiences to fill her own home with love and support for those in need.
What else did you watch?
It is not easy keeping this household running smoothly. 6 kids, ranging from a toddler to 15. Half are Erica Edwards' biological children. The other 3 are brothers taken in by this single mom in Upper Darby a year ago. And you didn't bat an eye. You said okay?
Yeah, okay.
With a newborn?
With a newborn. Yep, she was new, but more people to love her. She has more brothers. And it was difficult because I had a new baby, lots of appointments, and they needed lots of appointments. But like I said, once you get things on track, it's just living normally.
For Erica, living normally wasn't something she knew herself as a young girl.
I came from a situation where it was rough, and they just didn't have the tools that they needed to parent.
But her life changed when she was taken in by a foster mom at the age of 8.
I had an awesome foster mom who adopted me and still my mom today. My foster children call her grandmom, and it's been awesome for me, so that's why I just want to give the same thing that was given to me to someone else.
Now a college graduate and school aide, Erica's created a home made up of many moving parts filled with love. Did you let your kids know, hey, I've been where you are?
Yeah, I tell them all the time that I understand when they sad. If, when they leave to visit, I understand that they're sad that they're leaving their mom, and I assured them, like, you're going to see her again next week, same day, same time, the same visit, so it is hard.
Do you remember those feelings too?
Yeah, I remember those feelings. I think for a foster child, it's like the stages of grief. Like they experience the loss, and they bargain with themselves because they're not with their parents no more. They feel like it's their fault. So it's not always easy. It's just about where you meet up with them at.
And what do you get out of it, Erica?
A million people, all these little people love me.
A lot of love in that household right there. Erica says when her oldest daughter turns 18 and she has more room in the house, she just might say yes to another child to love and care for. And she does point out she doesn't do this alone. She gets a lot of support from the Department of Human Services.
And she has that shared connection with them, so hey, they really feel it, I'm sure.
They do. It's a great bond.
NBC 10 and Telemundo 62 are partnering with the Department of Human Services in Philadelphia, bringing attention to the need for foster parents.
And the need is big. Right now, there are nearly 6,000 children in foster care who need homes. NBC 10's Rosemary Connors is back now with how you can help. Rosemary.
We love to hear the phones ringing. So if you've always had a desire, maybe questions about becoming a foster parent yourself, we are here to answer those questions for you. The number to call, 1-877-622-9228. One of our volunteers who's taking calls is NBC 10's Vi Sikahema. How's it going, Vi?
Rosemary, great. I've got a dozen sheets here with people who have called in. It's gone really well. I've got somebody on the phone right now.
I'll let you go. Thanks for that, Vi. I'm joined by Commissioner Cynthia Figueroa, who's with the Department of Human Services in Philadelphia. Cynthia, earlier this week, I had the chance to meet a family, a same-sex couple, parents who are fostering a teenager. And you and I were talking about this earlier. You're looking for parents from all different backgrounds.
Absolutely. All shapes and sizes, all religions, single, married, same-sex couples. We want folks who want to welcome all kids into their homes.
The desire to have that commitment, that's what you're looking for.
We're looking for folks who are really committed, who have a loving home and believe that they can give back. You might have your own kids and you want to extend your family or share the love that you have with your own family with other kids in the system who need support.
Cynthia, appreciate you coming out here. Appreciate you organizing this with us. Absolutely. So that number to call again, 1-877-622-9228. We'll send it back to you, Aaron.
Earlier this week, we introduced you to Erica Edwards. She is the mom of 6 children, ranging from a toddler to a 15-year-old.
Half are her biological children. The other 3 are brothers taken in by this single mom in Upper Darby a year ago. If you're wondering where her inspiration comes from, well, it's from her own foster mom.
And we are hoping we can provide you with some inspiration, too, so maybe you can become a foster family.
Tonight, we have a phone bank set up to answer your questions. Let's go back to Rosemary Connors. She's live with more.
And more guests in studio. Jacqueline and Aaron, if you're looking for inspiration, look no further than Eric Johnson. Eric, your story is interesting. Single guy, and you thought, you know what, I want to make this commitment and I want to have children in my life.
Yes, I did. I always wanted to have kids. I just waited a very long time.
But here you are with Sincere, who is 2 years old.
Hi.
And Edward, who's 4.
Hi.
Hi. Sincere here is interested in the microphone just a little bit. Anything else you want to say, Sincere?
Hi. Hi.
Yeah. Eric, you and I were speaking earlier this week. This has been a very rewarding process. And in fact, you are in the process of adopting these boys that you started fostering at first.
Yes, I am. The process takes a little bit over a year. So it takes about a little bit over a year after, everything, and then we're just waiting on the court date.
I got it. All right. All right, what do you want to tell us, Edward?
Good morning.
Good morning. Good afternoon. Hey, we'd like you to call that number if you have questions about becoming a foster parent, 1-877-622-9228. These are 2 of the boys who came through DHS and are now in Eric's loving home. Thank you so much for being with us. And thank you guys. Anything else you want to say? One last thing. Say bye.
Say you're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. I mean, if that doesn't get the phones ringing, I don't know what will. Aaron, we'll send it back to you.
NBC 10's inaugural foster care phone bank is in the books. Today, volunteers fielded 290 calls during our 2.5-hour phone bank. The city of Philadelphia has more than 5,000 foster kids looking for a place to call home. Check the NBC 10 app if you're interested in fostering a child.